Okay, what's going on, LBHT crew? B, what is going on?
What's going on, man?
Man, it feels like it's been forever since we've been on here,
Like
but it
I
hasn't.
feel like, yeah, it does feel like a while, and it feels like a lot of mediocrity is getting rewarded. So I'm wondering why we're still south of 1,000 subscribers right now.
That's an excellent question. Look, guys, look. You know, we're what, 45 away? I think that's the count.
Yeah.
45 away. Man, look, LBHT crew, we need you guys to step up a little bit. Go tell your loved ones. You say, hey, loved ones, do you love me? You do? Well, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go over to the Lunch Break Hot Take, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because they deliver the hot fire every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. We are streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. We are everywhere. All right.
Yes.
And look, the crew is here. Hashtag LBHT crew. What's up, Davon? Thanks for coming through. Zaul Martinez says, hola, let's get it. Yes, D Weezy's in the house from the Lunch Money Bet. Says, yo, made it in time. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, Danity? Shout out to Danity.
What's up, Danity?
He comes through every week as well. Jalen's in the house. Says, what's up, LBHT crew? Our guy Mikey from Off the Record Podcast. He says, shots, bang, bang. Speaking of, man, make sure you go over to Off the Record Podcast. Subscribe over there. They had a nice little video last night on what's trending around the world. The slap heard around the world. Will Smith versus Chris Rock. Maybe we'll talk about it in the overtime show. Ooh, we'll get into that later. What's up, Andre Mears? Thanks for coming through. Look, already coming through with the donation. Shout out to Twan. Says, tell Twan. Steve stop being cheap. LOL, love the show. Man, thank you, Twan.
Thank you.
Shout out to you. And if you want to be awesome like Twan, there are 2 ways to do that. I believe I pinned the link. Yes, I did pin the link. That link that's pinned in the chat box, that is for our Streamlabs. Also, right below B, $ LBHT Show. That's our Cash App. Either way, you can go over there and make a donation, leave your comment, and you'll get a nice little animation right next to my face. All right. And I got
What's going on, Bob?
Bob's in the house. Shout out to Bob, man. Thanks for coming through, Bob. We got Suge over there on Twitch. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Suge? Ravens Online Ungatekeepers. Make sure you guys are subscribed to our guy over there as well. Our man Hendo doing great things on that channel. All right. Yes. And he's growing fast. So get on the train. Yes. Shout out to Suge. Hashtag LBHT crew. Yes. Danny says, y'all the only channel that matters. Oh, thank you, Danny.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it. What's up, Yolanda B? Says hello, LBHT.
What's going on, Yolanda?
Man, I love you guys, man. Thanks for coming through early. Our guy E is in the house. Says, bring the chaos. Yes, E is the harbinger of chaos. That's what I'm going to start calling you. You are the harbinger of chaos. All right. All right. Shout to Xavier Patton. Says, Steve basically said we ain't doing that guarantee stuff. Yeah, okay. He's saying he don't want to do it. He's going to do it. Oh, don't worry. We'll get into that. But you see the title, man. It's something that's important for us to discuss, right? We're going to talk about the Rooney Rule. We're going to talk about some of the changes that are made to it, what we like, what we don't like. We're going to talk about the new overtime rule. I'm not sure how many of you guys know about that. We'll discuss that. We're always going, as always, we'll talk about the Ravens. We'll talk about Steve Bashai's comments, like you guys have been talking about in the chat. We'll talk about Lamar's comments today about, hey, stop putting words in my mouth. All right. Don't be putting words in the boy's mouth. I love my Ravens. For now. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact. And B has a Black History fact for you.
Yeah. So, normally they're kind of sad. Thought I would go for something a little happier this week.
What I'm talking about. Yes.
I don't know how many people have heard of Sylvia Robinson, but you should. She was an R&B singer starting in the 50s. She was part of a duo called Mickey and Sylvia. She went solo later on, released a bunch of albums, had a few hits. But after her, well, I guess not after, but later on in her music career, she opened up a record label, the Sugar Hill Records. And she met what happened. Her son said they went to a club and she heard a DJ performing and it was kind of doing call and response and had never really heard that before and thought, this would be great for a rap record, right? And rap wasn't really a commercial thing at that point. And then they said one Friday she met these three guys, themselves the Sugar Hill Gang. They met on a Friday, and on a Monday they recorded a 15-minute song in one take. That song is called Rapper's Delight. It came out, and I mean, it lit the world on fire, right? Yes. I mean, it was the biggest hip hop record ever. It's the first one to go over 1 million in sales. It hit number 37 on the Billboard's Hot 100. They were, even though it was 15 minutes long, they were playing it on the radio. They came back. They recorded a 7-minute version, and that kind of introduced white audiences to hip hop. They were playing it on more mainstream radio channels as well with the shorter version. So yeah, it was one of the biggest and most influential hip hop records ever, right? At that point. So that was a big deal. But then she kept on going, right? She put out another record where she wrote and produced for Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five called The Message, which was later on in 2012 called the number one most influential hip hop song of all time.
I'm about to say, yeah, that's one of the most impactful songs ever in hip hop. Yes.
Yeah, and if you don't know it, it's when don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
Yeah.
So the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five had nothing to do with that, with creating that song. They just performed it. She wrote it, along with a couple other people. She wrote and produced it. Obviously she went on and signed some other hip hop acts. The Sugar Hill Records kind of went under in 1985. She opened up a new record label, and this is where we get into a little bit of trivia. She signed a group called The New Style. They didn't stay with her for long. They ended up leaving. They changed their name and found quite a bit of success later. But I wonder how many people know who started their career as The New Style. Put that in the chat if you know. I'll let you know in a minute.
I don't know that one. Yeah, I might. I might. I don't. I'm not sure.
But Sylvia, again, I wanted to highlight a woman who had she passed away in 2011. But she had her hands or was a producer and creator of two of the most influential hip hop songs of all time, and helped made her mark on the music industry, but also a genre that is a worldwide phenomenon and one of the most popular genres of music over the last several decades. And not enough people know about her. She was known as the mother of hip hop, around that time in the mid 80s. But yeah, just wanted to tell her story a little bit. Not enough people know about Sylvia Robinson.
So New Style, they came out in 85?
No, she signed them in 87 to Bon Ami Records. They didn't stay there. They left. I don't remember where they left for, but they changed their name and had some success after that. Let's see. I don't know.
Was it the Fat Boys?
No. It's not the Fat Boys. Nobody, doesn't look like anybody knows The New Style.
Run DMC?
Not Run DMC. It was a group called Naughty by Nature.
Oh,
yeah. So obviously Sylvia had quite an ear for talent.
That's crazy because they didn't come out until like 91.
Well,
like 91, 92.
That's when you heard of them, all right? Sylvia, she knew them in 87. Okay. But she was, she ran independent record labels, so kind of got squeezed out as bigger record labels kind of took over. But very, very influential in the world of hip hop.
Yes. Not by Nature. They're another revolutionary group, man. OPP was huge when they came out.
Yes.
They were huge. And I was mad because, it had the parental advisory sticker on the album. I wasn't allowed to listen to it.
Then it says, sounds like a pioneer to me. Correct. Yes.
Indeed. Yes. Shout out to Brandon Buck. Says, hey, crew. What's up with you, Brandon? MDT Sports is in the house. Yeah, look, you even stumped Just Aloe. Just Aloe said, I don't know New Style. Okay. King 95's in the house. What's up, King? Thanks for coming through, man. Did I say shout out to Jake P? I didn't want to gloss over Jake P. He said, what's good, fellas? What's good with you, man? Our guy, Eric Eric L is in the house. Says greetings,
What's
brother
up,
man.
Eric?
Thank you all for what you do, man. Appreciate you for coming through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lawrence Trent is here. It says, "What's up, fellas? What's up with you?" Yes. Let's see. Just Al says Angie Stone started on a rap group on Sylvia label.
Yeah. I forgot to mention Angie, but yeah, she was on there as well as an all-female group. I had the name. Let me see if I still got it here.
That's right. Because Angie Stone, when she came out as Angie Stone, she was already older.
Yeah. She started out as Angie B.
Yeah.
And she was in a group called, I'm trying to find it here. Not seeing it yet. Looks like I lost that one. But yeah, he was signed to with Sylvia Robinson as well.
Yeah. Shout out to Koch Rider, man. Thanks for coming through. Our guy Zeke Hokage says, "What's good, my brothers? Hope y'all and everyone had a great week." Indeed. And shout out to Keenan Ricketts. Thanks for coming through, man. He said, "Man, Chris Rock better make some phone calls. Will ain't have to do all that." Look, that is going to be something we're going to discuss for the overtime show. So if you're not signed up, if you got $3 in your pocket, right below me, patreon.com/LBHT Show. That's going to be a fun discussion. Or if you want to get some of our extended crew's opinion, you can go right over to Off the Record Podcast. Off the Record Podcast with OTR Mike, OTR Brandon, you got Quan, Alex. They did a show on that last night. So make sure you check them out as well. But all right.
The Sequence. That's the group that Angie Stone was
The Sequence. Yes. All right. So you see it right there on the screen. NFL rule changes, Rooney Rule, and the overtime rule. All right. We're going to start with the Rooney Rule. So as you know it now, the Rooney Rule is black candidates have to be, or is it candidates of color that had to be?
You have to interview candidates of color for head coaching jobs before deciding on who your head coach is going to be. They've expanded it recently to include head or front office positions. They've given incentives in the form of third-round draft picks for hiring minorities in the front office positions, as well as on the coaching staff. So they've been kind of pushing, right, because the Rooney Rule just wasn't working. Right. Initially, there was a bump, and then the numbers fell way down. So they knew they had to do something, but we're kind of back in that same situation again. So the NFL announced that they are now requiring all 32 teams to hire a person of color or female coach as an assistant, as an offensive assistant. And it's specifically as an offensive assistant because that is where the pipeline for head coaching jobs is right now. Right. Everybody's looking for bright, young offensive minds. And typically, coaches of color get hired as defensive coaches. And there's not really a lot of upward mobility there.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, even the ones that get the offensive jobs, they don't seem to move past that. Yeah. All right. Now, I want you guys to put in the conversation, like, how do you feel about that, right? Now they're making a requirement. It's essentially it's the NFL's version of affirmative action, right? So, do you guys think that's a good thing? You think that's a bad thing? B, what do you think about that?
So, I mean, I think that nobody really likes that, right? Nobody's like, hey, you have to hire this person because of this reason that is not related to the qualifications for the position. Nobody really likes that. But when you're a league like the NFL and you've been telling everybody, I mean, it's been obvious, but you've been openly telling everybody, hey, we discriminate in hiring for the last couple decades, and it's just not getting any better. These are the things that you have to do. I mean, if giving away third-round picks in the NFL draft, how these teams love their picks, especially Baltimore. But how teams all around the league love their draft picks. If that's not going to get you to get a bump in hiring, then yeah, you have to take more extreme measures.
Yeah. Now, like from affirmative action, the spirit of it, I like. Mm-hmm. But the concern that I have is I'm not a fan of all-inclusive policies, right? If the goal is to get more black people hired, black coaches hired, then make it about black candidates. Don't make it about black Asian, Latino, everybody, because while, and Zaul, makes a good point here, and I don't disagree. Afro, Asians, Latinos, women, all fighting to get the job. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's not enough representation for any of them. Right. In NFL. But typically what happens, like this country has a deep rooted history of racism against Black people. So, and it's a colorism thing. So what they'll say is, okay, well, we'll take the white Hispanic, right? We'll take the Asian, we'll take the white women, right? And shout out to Hendo for the $10 donation, man. Appreciate you. He says, thank you, brothers, for the continued support. Man, thank you, Hendo. Thank you, man.
Yes.
You've been supporting us. So like the problem I have is, just like affirmative action, I don't know how many of you guys know this, affirmative action mainly benefits white women, right? Yeah. When you hear the term affirmative action, it's oh well, you got to give jobs to Black people, just because they're Black. Well, it's white women that benefit from it the most,
right?
And I can see that happening now because, hey, they're white, right? Like I can get my daughter, or I can get my granddaughter, or whoever to do it to fill that role. I don't have to hire this Black candidate that I don't really want in my office. And shout out to Anonymous for the donation. I missed what he put on there, B.
Thank you for a marvelous channel, LBHT. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it. So those are the concerns I have now. But in general, the rule, I like it. I like that you have to hire at least one of these candidates, because even if you're just talking about just white women, like there aren't enough women candidates or positions in the NFL. And I understand it's a man's sport. I'm not sure how many women are jumping to become coaches in the NFL, right? But they're more than capable of becoming coaches. You know what I'm saying?
And I think there are plenty. I mean, if you look at the fan base for the NFL, it's about 50-50.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There are a ton of female fans for the NFL. And, they've done stuff where they would have programs specifically for women to get women into coaching. And that's great. And you've seen a few women get hired. I forget the coach's name, but Washington had the first woman as a position coach during an actual game this past season. But like you said, you don't want to get into a situation where, like, you go to New England and Bill Belichick hires Sarah Belichick. I mean, I don't know that that's a real person, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like happens now, because we look at certain teams, and it's just all people who are related. When in Carolina, when Ron Rivera was there, I mean, I guess Ron doesn't have a lot of family who wanted to be coaches in the NFL, so he kind of adopted the Turners, and they had Norv Turner. They had Norv Turner's brother, they had Norv Turner's son, and they had Norv Turner's nephew. And
that's
like
insane.
That's that you don't want to see it going down that road.
And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. The NFL has admitted they have a racism problem.
Yeah.
Right. They've admitted it. They had policy that was inherently racist, right? With the race norming policy, for retired players that are trying to get compensation, right? I mean, I don't know how many ways you want them to tell you, yes, we're racist. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they are. And this is another rule that's implemented where there's an easy out for them, right? Now, I don't know that. Now, the other half of it is too, they're also sexist. so that might help get a couple more Black candidates positions. But I didn't know this. Is this true? Danny says, I do not like this new Rooney Rule because the salary doesn't come out of the owner's pocket for the hiring. It's good though, but it's turned into tokenism when NFL is paying their way.
Yeah, that's not great.
No. I don't like that. And thank you for that information, because I didn't know that.
If that's the route you go, you're gonna just get people, just hiring whoever, and I think you're gonna get a lot of minorities sweeping up and making coffee runs, and not really being a part of the staff because, hey, we didn't really hire you, we're not paying you, we don't want you here.
Right. And anybody can get a offensive label, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and especially if the team's not paying for it, it doesn't. Yeah, there's no stake in it for them. right? When they're not paying for it. It's just that's an NFL hire, like we said, put them over in the closet or whatever, and they can have their offensive title. And another thing that they're going to have to be mindful of, since that is the case, is you got to make sure these teams aren't giving all these NFL hires like the same, title, right? Because that'd be another code for, NFL hire, not a real candidate.
Yeah.
Not a real candidate for a head coaching job. Keenan says owners still going to do what they want. Yes, at the end of the day, it's their league. Ravens Online says it's a shame, but it does give minorities experience with the interview process. It does. I mean, we're past that point. Now we need them to actually get jobs.
Yeah. Like Eric Bieniemy's got a ton of interview experience at this point. He don't need no more.
Zico Kage says sucks how coaching is who you know or who you've been rather than getting someone who knows how to do a job correctly. I mean, I say this all the time. Yeah. Look, Greg Roman is not. He's just not an offensive coordinator. I don't care what anybody says. And shout out to Kosh Wright. I know he likes Greg Roman. His LGBT is next. Yeah. They'll be written into the rule, as somehow, some way. But Greg Roman is just not. He's not a good coach. He's not a good coordinator, right? You could say he has some good concepts for the run game, and that's fine. You have a place in the league for that, but it's not running a whole offense. Yeah. But it doesn't matter because he's friends with Harbaugh. He's friends with the Harbaughs, right? And as long as they stay employed, he'll have a job, And even if he gets fired, he's made enough friends or relationships around the league where he'll get picked up somewhere else. It has nothing to do with his performance or how good he is. It's just who you know. And I'll go as far as to say half of the league, I would say from coaching staff, right? Your position coaches, all the way to head coach, and even to the front office, I would say at least half of your league is not qualified to do their jobs. Yeah. They are completely incompetent, but they just know the right people. That's why you see some of the moves made. You just kind of scratch your head like, well, why'd you get that person?
Just Alice, by the way, what does an assistant QB coach do? I'll answer that question with a question. What do most quarterback coaches do? Because, I mean, if you look at Lamar, he had to go and get his own quarterback guru to work with him all offseason to see the improvements that you saw in his game early in the season this year. Quarterback coaches, assistant quarterback coaches, they get paid to know people higher up on the staff.
Yeah. That's one thing that what's that show called? The NFL show for the training camp. I'm forgetting it now.
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. Yeah. That's one thing that Hard Knocks kind of showed me is that a lot of, like, if you watch these coaches, all they're doing is reading off of cards a lot of times. Like some of them are some of them know their job. Some of them can give these players, good coaching, good insight. But a lot of those young ones, they're just out there just reading off a card and saying, okay, run this drill. Okay, do this next. They're blowing their whistle. Like they're not really coaching. They're just saying, okay, linebackers over here, wide receivers over here. Okay, do this, right? And then they sit in the meetings and they just sit there and watch and they study. And over time, they get taught the playbook. They get taught certain things, and they just kind of learn on the job. And then because they were the QB coach, QB assistant, or whatever, D-line coach or O-line, assistant or whatever, that transitions into another job when this coordinator goes over here to get a head coaching job. Hey, you can come over here and be my offensive coordinator. You understand the concepts, whatnot. This person's going to help you, the play call and all that stuff. That's how they do it. They're learning on the job, but they're not qualified for the job.
Well, that's why I've always compared it to, like, if you're piano player. If you learn how to play the piano versus learning how to play a song, like if you sit down at a piano, somebody can teach you how to play whatever song you want to learn. They'll say, hey, this is just the order that you press the keys in, and you can memorize that and you can play the song beautifully, right? But if somebody asks you to play another song, you got no idea what you're doing.
Right.
It's different than knowing how to play the piano, and like you're saying, in coaching, they learn a certain thing as they come up, and then that's just their thing, and it's never going to change.
And they don't know how to adjust because they don't know the game that well.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And shout out to Mikey. Mikey says, if the NFL wanted to really do something, make them.
You gotta click on the next one.
The NFL wanted to do something. Why not make 2 hires, 1 minority and a woman? Yeah, B actually brought this up off the air. Like that's what it should be. Absolutely, I agree with that. Not one or the other. One or the other gives them an out to say, okay, well, we can hire a white woman, so we don't have to hire the black candidate.
Yeah.
And what's up, Q Hut? Thanks for coming through. And shout out to Manuel's Call of Duty channel, man.
What's up, Manuel?
All right, so keep putting the comments in there. I see you guys in there, man. I'm gonna pull some more comments. But the other rule change, all right, the overtime rule, is basically it's just for the postseason, right, B?
Yeah.
Every
right now, it's just for the postseason.
Yeah. Each team gets a chance to score, basically, right?
Each team gets guaranteed a possession, and if it's tied after those first 2 possessions, then it's sudden death.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, okay. I mean, I don't see. I didn't really have a problem with the way the rules were before, and I don't really see how this is how this solves it, because now it's hey, they got 2 possessions and we only got 1. Why is it that our defense has to make a stop and theirs doesn't?
Right, because one, I don't like why this rule came about. It's because the Bills lost, and to me, that's the worst reason to do a rule change, because you're talking about a team with the number 1 defense. Like, look, we've been arguing all week with people talking about defense wins championships. Not in Buffalo. And shout out to Keelan. Keelan says, truth of the matter is that black people got blocked out of these top owner positions whenever America decided to kill Freedom's Bureau. Yes. Give former Confederates the land and grants we were owed, and not give our ancestors reparations. I agree with everything you're saying.
Keelan, bringing the heat.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, these are, man, we can get to a much deeper conversation about that. What America owes black people. But yes, I'll just say yes. I agree with everything that you're saying right there. But the Bills are the number 1 defense. They're the number 1 pass defense by far, I believe. Like, I think it was like a wide margin. Like, they had a very good pass defense, the best pass defense in the league, and they got torched. And all they needed to do, and it's fine because that happens. That happens when you're playing in the playoffs. You're playing other top offenses, even for the top defenses. Like, you're going to get scored on. That's understandable. But for the number 1 defense, you can't hold them for 13 seconds.
Right.
You can't hold them for 13 seconds. I'm not changing the rule because of that. No.
and it's especially hilarious to me because the only reason, essentially, that this worked out is because Tyreek Hill is that fast. Like, no other receiver catching that pass and trying to run into the end zone. Like, you run out of time. You don't get enough time.
This is a Tyreek Hill rule. It's a Tyreek Hill rule. That's what they're saying. It's a Tyreek Hill rule. And okay, for the way the rule is now, if Buffalo got a chance to get the ball back and they score, it goes into sudden death. What if Kansas City ends up with the ball? Same outcome. They score, and you don't get a chance to score again.
Like, if you're going for fairness, just make them play another quarter. However long, another 10 minutes, another 7.5 minute quarter,
or do the college rule.
Yeah, but I was saying, if you're going for entertainment, go with the college rule, because I mean that puts defenses at a huge disadvantage, but it's fun to watch, right?
Not only college rule, I would say college rules starting with double overtime. Get rid of field goals, extra points. You start the 25, you got to score, and you got to get the 2 points.
Yeah.
Right. That would be
ultimately. I didn't think that there needed to be a change in the overtime rules, but and I don't really care. What this change is. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me. It is what it is. Handle your business in regulation.
Yeah, I'm just putting comments up. Yep, the Allen rule, Josh Allen rule. Mikey says lame. Yeah. Andre Mir says he likes it. Okay. All right. Like, I mean, it's essentially the same thing, right? Like, it's whatever. I just don't like why they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
You had the fan base cry about not being able to hold a team for 13 seconds or hold them in overtime.
13 seconds, man.
Because that's the other thing too. That's the other thing too. If they held them to a field goal overtime, they get the ball back.
Yeah.
Like at what point does your number one defense do its job?
They don't.
And that's
Which is why we say hashtag defund the defense.
Exactly. Because even in that situation, there was no blame put on the defense. The onus is on the offense to get it done. And when the offense doesn't get a chance to get it done, it's change the rule. That's the NFL we're into.
They didn't fire their defensive coordinator. They're not talking about getting any of those guys out of there, upgrading the talent. They said, I'm writing a letter to the manager to get this rectified.
Daddy wants to know. She says they do anything to see white QB win. If a rule need to be changed, is getting changed the next season. Meanwhile, Lamar can't even get a roughing the passer call. Oh, man, these are some cold hard facts. Listen, man, this show is not for the weak of heart. Okay, it's not for the weak of heart. We touch on some subjects that a lot of people don't want to touch on, but we're gonna touch on them here.
I'll tell you what, but I think it's time to go ahead and touch on a subject that everybody wants to touch on. That's John.
We don't want to touch that one. We can leave that one alone.
3-year extension. He is the head coach in Baltimore through 2025. Y'all celebrating?
There are some people out there that are celebrating. B, where are they? Are they flying around? Are they flying around?
Oh,
there they are. There they are. It's the defenders. It's the super fans. B, the super fans are celebrating today. They got a win. It's a win for the good guys. Okay, they're telling them, hey, look. Harbaugh brings stability. That's what they're saying. Yeah. He brings stability.
I saw one of our favorite the Purple Patrol was just thrilled, like ecstatic. And I'm like, I don't know how this could possibly make you that happy. Like, even if that's the opinion that you're selling, like you're even over the top with that. But I don't know. I look
playoff
at it
win in how many years?
Yeah, that's been a while.
Yeah, like 7 years or so, something like that.
I think maybe even longer than that. Hall of Fame coach. Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is that. I don't. Obviously, the extension doesn't really mean anything necessarily, right? They'll fire him if they feel like they need to fire him, right?
Yes,
but it's the signal that you're sending.
Yeah.
And I don't like the signal of, hey, even if you want to give him a pass because of the injuries, I don't like the signal of, hey, you missed the playoffs, you lost 6 in a row, here's a reward.
The extension, like you said, that doesn't mean anything to me, because when Bisciotti fired Brian Billick, I think he was like 1 year into like his 4-year extension. I think he had 2 or 3 years left on his contract when you fired him. That doesn't mean anything to Bisciotti. That's just, and Bisciotti says that he just doesn't like having it's optics for him. He doesn't like having lame duck coaches, right? He just thinks it's a bad look. And a 2-year extension is too obvious, right? Like, hey, we're not really, really believing you. So he just says, okay, I'll give you 3 years. If I want to fire you, I'm gonna fire you. Like, that's not really security for John Harbaugh. And you got another donation here from Anonymous. Shout out to Anonymous. It says, do you think he makes past his first year? That's the thing. I think it depends. I don't think he can have another bad year, injuries or not. I don't think he can have another bad year and keep his job. I think if it's similar to last year, I think he's gone.
Well, and this brings up a interesting question in the AFC, right? Because the AFC is stacked and it is deep. Mm-hmm. So they could come back, not have all those injuries, play pretty well, and still miss the playoffs.
Yes, I think he still gets fired if that happens.
Okay, I think if they come back and they win 10 games, they go 10-7 and they miss out because of wild card tiebreakers or whatever, I don't think he gets fired. If they're just out, I think he does.
I think I listened to Bisciotti's press conference, and he talked about last season how he wasn't, the 6-game losing streak didn't bother him emotionally, whatever, because he didn't think they were an 8-3 team to begin with, right? And I think that's just because of the injuries. And I think they sold him on, hey, so many injuries, we're not going to be able to compete. But also, he's expecting everybody comes back healthy this year. You are going to compete because, yes, despite all the movement that's going around in the AFC, they sold him and Ravens fans on the fact that we already have good players. We have good enough players, right? That's what we're always told. Hey, we don't need Devontae Adams. We got Rashad Bateman, right? We don't need to go and get Tyreek Hill. Give Prochet more snaps, right? Like, give Duvernay more snaps. You keep saying those things, and you telling it, like, you can say it to us. We're nobodies, right? But you say it to the boss. If you're saying those things to the boss, and he's believing, hey man, we got Hollywood. That's just as good as Tyreek Hill. We got Prochet. That's just as good as Devontae Adams, and they're not getting it done. Now you got a problem. Yeah. So I don't think I think they have to make the playoffs. I don't think you can miss the playoffs, especially with Lamar's deal not done yet, right? And I think for them, they don't know what the issue is. I don't think they know whether it's a money thing or he's not happy with the team. I don't think they know. So there's a lot of uncertainty there. And if they have another bad year and it's looking like, man, it might be some question whether Lamar is gonna come back or not. Gone.
I will say this: if they come back and they miss the playoffs, and Lamar doesn't have a bounce back year, because he's coming off his worst season, and he looks just bad at times last year, then I think the noise and the volume is going to be too loud in the fan base for them to not do anything. Especially when you look at the offseason up to this point. They brought in Morgan Moses, who's an upgrade at right tackle. Not a big upgrade, but an upgrade.
Not a hard thing to do.
Right. But not a big upgrade, but an upgrade. But you let your starting center walk for less money than you paid your fullback, and you haven't replaced him, and you're saying you're not going to replace him. You're saying, hey, we got Macari, we got Cologne, Castillo. You don't really have a solid plan at left guard. At this point, Ronnie Stanley is still hurt. I mean, you can be confident that he comes back 100%, but you don't have a plan B if he doesn't.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So if you go into the season like that and the O-line is still subpar and Lamar has another bad season, I don't know how you bring him back.
Yeah. And if he doesn't come back, you're talking about EDC being out, Harbaugh being out. They can't keep their jobs without Lamar. I mean, that's crystal clear. Yeah. Then if Lamar's not here, they're not going to be here. Maybe just for appearance's sake, they stick around for one more year just to kind of show like, hey, I had their back. But after that year, and definitely not going to win, toast. They're gone. But my guess would be they would all be out if they didn't get that deal done. All right. All right. We'll read a couple of comments, and then our man D Weezy is here. He's ready. It says, okay, Mikey says, most disappointing news for me, Super Bowl won't be selling the team.
Steve Bisciotti.
Steve Bisciotti. Steve Bisciotti won't be selling the team. I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I don't have a problem with Bisciotti in terms of how he's run the team. He doesn't mingle, right? Like I like owners that they hire their guys and they put faith in them. Now it's just time to stop showing the faith. We got anonymous tip says Ravens since 2013 regular season wins, 4 postseason. 83 regular season wins. I'm sorry, 83 regular season wins, 4 postseason appearances, 3 divisional round exits, and 1 wild card round exit. Cowboys since 2013, 83 regular season wins, 4 postseason appearances, 3 divisional round exits, 1 wild card exit. How about them Ravens?
And this is what we said, when we talked about Jason Garrett and how Baltimore was really close to hiring him, and Baltimore fans like to pretend they dodged a bullet. If Jason Garrett was your coach, you would have had the exact same amount of success. You still would have won a Super Bowl. You still would have been mediocre after it. You'd be in love with Jason Garrett. Like, man, glad we didn't get that special teams coach.
Yeah. You'd be saying, oh, Jason Garrett is a Super Bowl champion. Can't fire him.
What's up, godson?
What's up, man? Thanks for coming through. All right. JP says if they miss the playoffs with a fully healthy roster and fourth place schedule, Harbaugh's gone after next year.
Yeah, I mean, look, the schedule thing, it's funny, but you don't know how those teams are actually going to be,
Yeah, but you set a standard for yourself, and you're saying you're a top-notch organization. You're saying you're this, you're that. You can't finish fourth place. Doesn't matter how good the other teams are. You're supposed to be right there with them.
Yeah.
Denville Carlisle says if they miss. Oh, did I read that one? If they miss the playoffs, no. Harbaugh will be fired because you can't have a great quarterback and miss the playoffs with a good defense.
But do they have a good defense?
Well, do they have a good defense?
I'll say this: you can't miss the playoffs 2 years in a row with a great quarterback. I mean, I'm 100% on board with that. They had a good run defense last year. The pass defense, not so much.
Well, injuries, right? Yeah. But that's the thing. Injuries. When everybody's healthy, they are a good defense when everybody's healthy. Big Red says, honestly, I think our QB coach is about to be our head coach, and Keith Ortiz going to be offensive coordinator, and the new hire will be the new QB coach. Remind me to bring this up after the Lunch Money Bets, because I want to discuss that new QB coach hire and what that could mean for G-Row. Ooh. Okay, look, we're going to pick it back up. But right now, it's time for you gambling degenerates to get your pen and paper ready, because our guy D Weezy has got the hot takes for Lunch Money Bets. There he is, D Weezy. What's going on?
Eric? What's going on, everybody?
How we doing, man? How we doing last week?
Well, we had a losing week last week, went 1-3 on the picks I gave. And, Jose likes to say, talk trash about us degenerates, but you see that it's going to come down to either one of two degenerates winning the tourney bracket.
Yes, this is true. This is true.
Yeah. That's just because I didn't watch any college basketball and I had not enough faith in my Blue Devils.
Right, that sounds like a you problem and not a me problem.
They're winning it all, Derek.
All we had to do was be a fan for once. And
I know. I couldn't do it. I was like, they burned me too many times.
Yeah. So coming into this week, I do have a little basketball on the slate. I'm looking at Phoenix -5 in their game. See who they're playing. Double check. Yeah, they're playing the Warriors. The shape they're in, I don't think they had. I think it'll be a little bit lower of a scoring game. It may not go over on the game total, but I do like the -5 for the Phoenix Suns there. And the other basketball game I was looking at tonight was the Toronto Raptors -2.5 against the Timberwolves. I know the T-Wolves have been playing, good basketball here lately, but Toronto's on a bit of an upswing. We're, closing in on the end of the season. I think they're starting, to get a little hot, maybe peak at the right time. Not necessarily saying they might do anything in the playoffs, but as far as the regular season and against a team like the Timberwolves, I'll gladly take a low spread like that, -2.5, the way they've been playing. Now, to mix things up, here recently, I've been doing well with, my hockey. If you've been in the Discord, you've seen where, sometimes the pucks do me right. And so tonight, coming through with a 2-game parlay on the money line with got the Golden Knights taking on the Kraken. I'm taking the Golden Knights there, which is -150 in their game. A bit of a strong favorite. The same in the next game. We have the LA Kings playing the Edmonton Oilers. That, the Oilers are -190 in that game. That's a stout price to try and play if you're just playing them by themselves. But in this 2-game parlay, both teams win +154. And then another game I liked on the night, St. Louis Blues. They're playing, good hockey. They've been one of the better teams all season long. And coming into tonight, they're going up against the Canucks +101, where I got it at. Basically, in hockey, they're saying these are two evenly matched teams, and why not just stick with the plus side of the money if it's a coin flip?
Okay, all right. And Raven Ron on schedule. Degenerate Ron's bets: 2-game parlay. Hornets -2 over Knicks and Suns -4.5, and over 229. Wolves Raptors Grizzlies Spurs over 234. What you think about that?
Well, of course, the Hornets, they're going to
Yeah.
win. And I was looking, and they're slightly behind right now currently, but in the live markets, that might work in your favor. What I'm seeing says -1.5 plus money right at plus 100. They're down by 2 points with a little over a minute left in the first quarter. If you're looking at trying to get in on that, like I said, I like the Suns. He got it at -4.5. I was trying to get that 4.5, and the line moved right as I hit the button. So I had to take the 5. I still feel comfortable there. Now, like I said, that over, initially I thought about the over, but I think I don't think we'll see the Wolves score as much points as they've been recently. We have a more defensive presence, not just in the post out of Ayton, but just in general with the whole team. So that would be my concern there. Raptors, Grizzly, Grizzly Spurs over. Yeah, I can definitely see that going over. Even though the Spurs have not had a good season offensively, they tend to come through. The Grizzlies, yeah, they're hot. They've been going off without Ja Morant. They've been Ja who?
They say the stats say they're the best team in the league without Morant.
Exactly, and
that's crazy.
And from day one, I've said if you find strong trends, you play them. That's the name of the game. That's how things work.
Stats definitely lie, though.
Yeah, agreed. Not to say there's no guarantees, but I feel more comfortable getting behind something that's come through 8 out of 10 times than I do something that's 3 out of 10 times.
No, absolutely. I'm just saying, in the regular season, that's something that you can probably rely on, right? I'm saying when you get postseason, they are not the best team in the league without Ja Morant. That's what I'm.
Oh yeah, yes. But and that's where the postseason opens up different angles. Whereas y'all seen in the Discord last season, where I was able to get plus money on both sides of a series, and it didn't matter what happened, I win. Who's going to argue with that?
There you go. And look, we got some.
I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear from you,
okay?
Julius.
They don't want to hear the excuses.
I'm sorry.
Raven Ron says no excuses, Brodny. I didn't watch much NCAA basketball this year.
No, but listen to what he said.
Hold up. You want me to drop the hammer?
I didnn't watch much. I didn't watch
any college basketball.
But you study the numbers, though. You study the numbers. I don't do that.
You're the numbers guy.
You do that for fun. I look at the numbers. I'm like, I don't care about this. What's a Paolo Banchero? I don't care.
All right,
Andrew, man. Hate to see
Andrew. Someone worked back the government vehicle and smashed the front end.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Andrew.
Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. But all right, look.
I don't want to hear it, Julius.
Hey, I object. As a lawyer, I object to that. Okay. No mention of Julius Peppers here.
I didn't bet. I would never bet against Coach K. I just, I picked Arizona to win it. They didn't.
I said the day of, it was disrespectful that they was giving that 12, regardless of how the teams are playing. I don't care what the seasons are like. Yeah. Neither side should ever be double digit plus anything in that game.
They're gonna
simple.
Beat the brakes off of North Carolina this weekend, though.
We'll see.
You hope.
We'll see.
You hope.
I do hope.
All right. If you guys want
North Carolina's been looking good. I'm not gonna lie.
If you guys want some more of these hot takes, you can find D Weezy in our Discord. He's got his own Lunch Money Best channel. All right. And also tell them where they can find you on Twitter.
Yeah, on Twitter, I'll be at DWeatherly90, spelled basically like it sounds. I tend to sometimes put up some of my plays and things like that. I do, it's something that's caught people's attention before. And now, if you're really interested in my plays, you need to sign up for that Discord. It's that simple. But I do put information and talk about things on Twitter. Sometimes get in on the spaces. I'm a Panthers fan, and people that know me, there's other things with the Panthers potentially that I'm trying to do. Like they call me Mr. 17 Jobs. You got to have enough things to do to earn a title like that. Sleep what? Sleep who? Not here.
There you go. All right. So that's it for this this segment of Lunch Money Bets. If you want to see more D Weezy tonight, are you gonna be hanging out with us in the overtime show?
I'll be here. I always come through. See, triple OG original.
There you go. There you go. We're gonna be discussing some Will and Chris Rock in the overtime show. So I'll tell you all about that in a second. But D Weezy, thank you, and we will see you later on.
Everybody take care out there.
All right. Okay. So patreon.com/LBHT show. All right. That's how you can sign up for the overtime show. Also, you get access to our Discord. But B's gonna tell you about that right now. Okay. We have 2 tiers. $3. You got $3? Do you have $3 in your pocket? Can you spend $3 every month? Just put away that Snickers bar. You don't want that Snickers bar. It ain't good for you. It ain't good for you. All right. It's very tasty. It is very tasty. All right. But this is going to be more gratifying. All right. So tell them real quick about the 2 tiers.
Yeah. So like as I said, we have the $3 tier and the $10 tier. In the $3 tier, you're going to get entrance into our NFL Pick'em League, where we give away a custom LBHT trophy at the end of the season. Our guy Mikey won that this past year. Congrats to Mike. It's also going to get you into the overtime show. Oh, God.
Look at the champ.
All right. All right. Anyway, so yeah, the $10 tier is going to get you into our fantasy football league. We're running a dynasty league right now. We got a lot of stuff planned for that. We are also going to be starting up a redraft league later on this season.
Yes.
So if you're interested, you can sign up there. It also gives you the ability to request specific content, with articles or videos or anything like that on whatever topic you'd like. We go ahead and produce that. Both tiers get you entrance into the overtime show that Jose mentioned, where we just kind of hang out with all the patrons and talk about anything and everything. We do that every week after the live show. And both tiers get you entrance into the Discord channel as well.
All right. And for that Dynasty League, last year we were playing for a championship belt. This year we're playing for a championship belt. The first champion ever. Shout out to Deshaun. That's the belt that you win. The belt this year is going to be a little bit different. But yes, that's a nice quality belt right there. All right. So shout out to him. All right. And I gotta give a special shout out to the original Pick'em's winner right there. Our man, Coach Jay with the original championship trophy right there. All right. And also this coin right here. Look at that. Look at that. That's what you get if you sign up for the $10 tier right there. All right. And do you like what we're wearing? Do you guys like? Do you like what B's wearing right there? Do you like that? That is a nice beanie right there. Look, it's getting a little warm. It's warming up. It ain't there yet, but it's getting warm. You want yourself a t-shirt. You want some nice merch that'll keep you cool. You can go right here, lbhtshow.com/shop. Okay, that's where you get the merch. All right. So thank you for your support.
And they mentioned that the belt is going to be a little bit different this year. One of the things that we're doing with that league, if you follow boxing, you see it with the boxing championship belts, where they put kind of historic champions on the side plates. We decided to do that. If you win the league the next year, your logo gets put on one of the side plates, and it's going to be for the first 4 champions, and that's kind of how it would be. So this year, this is going to be on the belt because our guy Deshaun
as requested
as his logo. So
there you go.
Again, congrats to Deshaun. If you want to maybe balance that out, go ahead and sign up, get into the Dynasty League, win it, get your logo on the belt as well.
All right. And Shug just wants you to know he got the plug on the bootleg coins.
He says that, but we do have a box of bootleg coins sitting here.
We actually do.
Not quite right.
Yeah, we actually do. I got one right here. They look good, but they didn't come out quite the way we wanted them. They're shiny though. They're shiny.
Yes.
All right. So what we talking about now?
Hendo says he ain't winning it this year, and if you look at Hendo's roster, he might be right.
He might be right. Yo, Hendo, he wants that belt. When Hendo first signed up for Patreon, he said, "I want my coin and I want my belt." Okay, and
you got one.
You got one. Stay tuned. All right, B. I mentioned something about Giro's job being in jeopardy. Okay,
yes.
I teased that. They made a hire, assistant QB coach. Is that what it is? Assistant QB coach, something like that.
Yes.
And
Kerry Dixon.
Yes, and apparently this guy came from Georgia Tech, where he helped transition them from a read option team to a more pro style team. Right, that's what's being told out there. But this makes seemingly 3 coaches on the offensive side that don't appear to be John Harbaugh guys. Right. You got T. Martin, you got Keith Williams, and now this guy. What's his name? Kerry
Dixon.
Kerry Dixon. Right. So that begs the question, man. What's going on over there? Like, this does not seem like it does not seem like a front office or even a head coach that has all the faith in Greg Roman.
You know, I'll say it's one of 2 things, right? For me, either it's an organization that's trying to modernize and trying to change without kind of disrespecting their well-respected and well-loved head coach, right? Mm-hmm. Or it's just a bunch of cowardice. Because if you're bringing in these guys as replacements, eventual replacements for Greg Roman, because he can't do his job, why don't you just fire him?
That's what
hire an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand by that. I don't buy this whole you bring in 2 guys to help with your pass game because that's what your weekend and they're gonna help you develop your pass game. If you don't have a pass game,
King says it right here.
Why they keep hiring placements and not doing any replacing? Because that's the John Harbaugh thing. He just doesn't like firing his friends unless his back is against the wall. Yeah. Even then, he tries to give them an out. And I asked B this: what if? Because we're not hearing a lot from Greg Roman. We haven't heard from him at all. In fact, this offseason.
Yeah.
What if Greg Roman got offered the Marty Morningwig deal, which is not going to fire you, but we're going to slide you over to you're going to be the run game coordinator, and this guy's going to take over as offensive coordinator. And they just haven't announced anything because you don't really have to announce those things, right? What if he took the deal? Well, Roman was just like, okay, because at the owners' meeting, Bill Belichick was there, and they asked Bill Belichick about naming offensive defensive coordinators because he doesn't have any name, and they asked him if he was going to name any, and he basically just said, "Nah, like everybody knows their role, and they all had a role to do. We know what it is, and that's good enough." Now, if Greg Roman got slid into another position, that doesn't have to be announced, right? They don't have to announce that. You can just assume he's the offensive coordinator, but somebody else could be calling the plays. He doesn't stand on the sideline already. He's already in the box with everybody else, with all the other coaches. We can just assume that he's a coordinator, but it could be T. Martin or Keith Williams or Kerry Dixon making the play calls. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it is. I think that they're kind of preparing for Greg Roman to be gone, but they don't have the I'll say intestinal fortitude to make the move. They're playing scared, basically.
Yeah. I think, or it could be, because it's not EDC's job to fire him; it's Harbaugh's job. But
when Harbaugh's not doing his job, it is EDC's job to do something about it.
It is. I think they're trying to make it real uncomfortable for Greg Roman, so he could just say, "You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and head out."
And I bet Greg is chilling. Greg is sitting there. He's like, "You mean you hired a 3rd person to do my job?" Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
He said this job is easier and easier.
every day I come in here, this job is easier and the money stays the same.
Shout out to Attitude Pop says Lamar has the whole league scared, right? Because Lamar's seen what Deshaun got. If he gets a contract like Deshaun, the whole NFL is going to be done. Every QB is going to want fully guaranteed money. It's already happening. It's already happening. If you're a top QB, you want fully guaranteed money. And I'm all for it because the league is making hand over fist and they can more than afford to pay their guys. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they're absolutely going to do that. And Bishotti had commented on that. I don't think he used the right choice of words there, but he was saying basically he didn't think Deshaun Watson should have been the first QB to get a fully guaranteed contract.
Well, but he wasn't. Kirk Cousins got one too.
That's true. Shout out to Anonymous. Ravens. Oh no. What do coaches Urban Roman really do? Oh yeah. Yeah. That's and shout out to you. Thank you for the donation.
Thank you. They chill.
Yeah. They chilling because even the wrong look this. What's up, Kimberly?
Like Ori says, whenever you get here, you right on time.
That's right. And shout out to Tough Puppy talking about being late. I saw you in here, Tough Puppy. Shout out to you, man. No, like I don't think there's anything special about Greg Roman. I've said this before. He gets credit for his running concepts and all this stuff, but if Lamar's not running those schemes, it looks like nothing. It doesn't even look basic. It looks like nothing, right? I don't think he's anything special. I don't think he's any special play caller. Now you have that type of quarterback. He gets more creative, and that's just because he's willing to do what a lot of coaches aren't willing to do, which is run your quarterback 20 times, right? 10 or 20 times a game. But no, I don't think he's doing anything to really move this offense forward, and he doesn't bring anything to the table. I'm sorry. All right, so we didn't even get to what the ticker says here. The Ravens were interested, right? I just wanted to bring this up because Arden Key was signed today, not by us. Who signed him? Who was it?
Jacksonville.
I'm not sure if they released how much he got paid for it, but I'm pretty sure it was.
$7 million.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's minuscule, right? $7 million. I'm pretty sure the defenders, the Harbaugh protectors, the EDC protectors, the super fans would tell you that's too much. He's not worth that, right? Because we could have gotten Zadarius Smith for $8 million a year. Arden Key's not Zadarius Smith. Well, one, you didn't get Zadarius Smith, and two, $7 million is about what you should be paying for average edge rusher, right?
Yeah,
and you didn't get Zadarius Smith. And you brought in Arden Key for a visit. You brought in Rasheem Green for a visit. You brought in Bobby Wagner for a visit. You're always interested, but you're not sealing the deal.
Yeah, they window shop a lot. But to interrupt, we did have some breaking news.
Oh, okay. Did we sign Rasheem Green?
No. Bruce Arians has retired from coaching.
Oh,
he is moving into the front office in Tampa Bay. And they have picked Todd Bowles to succeed him as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Whoa!
So shout out to I got to give him the respect. Shout out to Garnett, not Julius. Shout out to Garnett for sending us that story. Appreciate it.
Hey, appreciate you, Garnett. Thank you.
Thank you. So kind of big time moves there, and I'm sure to be followed by Tom Brady retiring.
Yes, and shout out to Anonymous says Ravens fans, quote unquote, and sports media are trying to push this narrative that Lamar is a depreciating asset and they don't believe he's worth a mega contract. Yeah, they've been trying to push that. That's why they push for him to sign, because they don't truly believe he's a top tier quarterback. There's so many layers to what the media is doing with Lamar. All right. Yes. Bowles is a good coach.
Todd is a good coach.
Yeah. I held my breath for a second. I'm gonna address. Hold on, Anonymous. I'm gonna address what you said in a second. I held my breath for a second when you said when they're naming a new coach. I was like, man, if it's not Bowles or Leftwich, but good for Bowles. I think that it was well played, because Bowles is going to have a harder time getting another head coaching job, right? I think he was a fine head coach. He didn't win with the Jets, but he's trying to fix a mess over there. He needed more time, and I think he was turning it around. Byron Leftwich, from what we heard, was offered the Jaguars job. He just didn't want to work with the GM. Leftwich seems like he's going to be able to get another job.
Yeah, I think that's probably why it's Bowles and not Leftwich.
Exactly.
Leftwich
exactly.
To get a head coaching job next season.
Yeah, and I have my criticisms of Bruce Arians, but his hiring of an all-black coaching staff, or mostly black coaching staff, to try to get them positions to get head coaching jobs is very commendable. So salute to Bruce Arians, man. Hey, Jose, did you read Lamar tweet that he loves the Ravens? Yes, I was actually going. This is perfect, Kimberly. This is perfect. I was actually going to tie it into what Anonymous was saying about the media and Lamar, right? So Lamar put out a tweet earlier just basically saying, man, all these people are putting words in my mouth. I love my Ravens. He said, my Ravens. Okay. That's his team. That's my team. That's my Ravens. All right. Love my Ravens. You know, basically saying, like, don't believe what you're hearing out there.
Yeah.
And I fully believe in what he's saying. I think he does love this organization. I do think he intends to sign here. I don't think he's really looking at going anywhere else. He just wants to make sure he gets paid all that he can get paid. That's the good news, right? Now, that also tells me that if they don't get a deal done, it's not because he didn't want to be here. It's not because he didn't believe in the roster or anything like that. It's because they were trying to be cheap. Yeah. They dropped the ball. And I'm glad he put it out because there has been a narrative, right? And that's to Anonymous's point. There has been a narrative about, you know, putting pressure on him about signing a deal now because he's going to mess this up somehow. And, you know, he's got to think about his generational wealth and, oh, well, he runs the ball more than any other QB does. And you got to think about the wear and tear and all that stuff. These are things that are pushed by the media that help the team out, help the owners out, right? And you got the Ravens putting out that narrative of, well, we're trying to reach out to him. It's on him. He's not talking to us. But he flipped it just now. He flipped it today by saying, listen, I'm not looking to leave. This is the only team I want to play for. I love this team. Like, I don't know where y'all getting this from. This is my team. So he's letting you know, I have every intention of signing right here. Don't worry about when it gets done. I'm not planning on going anywhere. Yeah. So that puts the onus right back on the team.
Yeah, Matt, Bruce is retiring from coaching. He's moving into the front office in Tampa, and Todd Bowles is taking over as head coach in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the media, there's a lot of layers to it. And if you watch our video on the media's obsession with Lamar Jackson, we break it down on that. And it starts from the draft. It starts from when they label him a wide receiver. They saw athletic quarterback, a black athletic quarterback, and they labeled him a wide receiver. And they didn't think he was going to make it as a quarterback. And when he got drafted in the first round, and then, you know, it's the same old black quarterback tropes of, you know, can he read a defense? You know, he needs time to develop as a passer. You know, a read option is more of his type of his type of style. Yeah, that better suits his traits. And those are all dog whistles, right? When you hear that stuff, you know, especially for the younger people out there, like when you hear stuff like that, those are dog whistles that go way back to a time when they were more open about their racism in the NFL and just them not believing that black quarterbacks were smart enough to play the position. So obviously he proved them all wrong. And then had the MVP season, which really made them look bad. And I think they've been seething ever since. All right. So now it's not about his play. His play's not really in question anymore. Is he a good businessman? Is he doing the right thing in terms of his contract? Is he, is he being advised, properly by his mother, which, well, even if he wasn't, what do you care? Right. Like, that's his business. Generational wealth. He's not poor. I don't know if you know this, but first round picks don't make nothing. Right.
And he's making $23 million this year. So
yeah, I think that. I mean, I don't know about you guys. What could you do with $23 million? Even minus taxes and all that. Let's say, what could you do with $10 million? You think you could live a happy life? You think you'd be doing all right? I think he's fine.
Well, Ravens Lamar too worried about clapping back at fans. Oh, thank you, Keelan. Go ahead and read that.
Oh, shout out to Keelan, man. Says Lamar can't become a company man. That Lamar tweet confirmed that leak that the Ravens gave him a lowball offer, and that's why he hasn't signed. Yeah. Steve Bisciotti's words and actions show he doesn't want to pay Lamar what he's really worth. Yes. I think I think Bisciotti's willing to pay. I think it's, but Bisciotti is an owner, and he doesn't like to meddle in what the front office has going on. I think he wants to see them do things according to their system. And if it doesn't work, he'll step in and say, all right, look, just give me a number and I'll pay. I think ultimately that's what's going to happen. But yeah, I do think that I do believe they gave him a low ball offer in the beginning, and he's like, you know what? I don't want to do this back and forth. We'll just let it ride out. And now they're getting really nervous because the the market has doubled. The market has doubled, and they are extremely nervous about what they're going to have to pay him next year if he holds out until next year. So if they were smart, they should be throwing out a number that's more than what he might be thinking right now. Because I'm sure he's thinking about 50 million. I'll be saying, look, we'll give you 55. Who cares? We'll give you 55 per. You want what does Sean get? He got 243 million. Totally 230. All right, we'll give you 250 fully guaranteed, man. Don't even play around. We'll give you 250 fully guaranteed. Let's not even play with this. Let's just get this done now, because that's going to be a nothing contract in a couple years.
So I did want to respond to Ron here and say Lamar's too worried about clapping back at fans, because if you haven't been on Twitter, Lamar has had some time recently. He's had time.
It's the offseason
saying whatever they're saying about him. And no, I don't agree with this at all. Like, Lamar has shown you already that he's putting in the work every offseason, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we can use your Brooklyn Nets as an example. Nobody is more online than Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant kills it every night on the court.
He is smoking them right now.
But listen, Ron, what about saying EDC needs to spend less time talking about Lamar and more time fixing his offensive line? About he needs to spend less time talking about what Lamar's not doing and go out and sign him some interior defensive linemen, go out and sign some wide receivers, go do his job. Like, when nobody's talking about the front office and the owner and what they need to be doing, don't worry about Lamar. Lamar does his job. Y'all were 8-3 until Lamar went down. The number 1 seed in the conference until Lamar went down. He's the franchise. Y'all missed the playoffs 4 out of 5 years before he got there. You were on your way to missing it again, and John Harbaugh getting fired in his rookie year. Lamar saved his job. Lamar got you to the playoffs 3 years in a row. He's doing his job. He's doing what he needs to do. Eric DaCosta is not. Steve Bisciotti is not. John Harbaugh is not. Greg Roman is not. Wink Martindale was not. And that's why he ain't there no more. So don't worry about what Lamar tweeting.
Well said. B said, instead of flipping your coaches around like a helicopter, why don't you go and sign some players? And shout out to Keelan. Let's bring this back up. He says, if Steve Bisciotti and EDC really wanted Lamar, they would have gave him $240 million for 5 years already. Yeah. Somebody over here says something like that, $50 million a year, completely guaranteed. But they thought I was crazy. Lamar literally just said he wants to be a billionaire, and if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, he's not a failure on the shop. Yes, on LeBron's show, The Shop. Steve Bisciotti just exposed his thoughts on Lamar. Yeah, and that's why Bisciotti doesn't talk as much anymore, because Bisciotti does say what's on his mind, right? And I think that's why they kind of cut back his time on in front of the camera. Absolutely. And shout out to Anonymous. Appreciate y'all, man. It says the Ravens moves don't seem to want Mr. Jackson. I think that's why I love Bisciotti for speaking out on it, because he's letting them know, oh, I want Lamar. He said life sucks when you don't have a good QB. He says he's saying everything, without saying they better get it done. That's essentially what he's saying at the end of the day. They're going to get it done. We're giving him his space to go ahead and get it done. He doesn't like that Deshaun Watson got all that guaranteed money, but he's going to do it. He said something to the effect of, we understand Lamar's going to play that game, but we don't necessarily, then again, we don't necessarily have to play that game. Well, one, yes, you do have to play the game. Two, you're already playing it because you're trying to sign him, and you're going to do it when he says, I'm ready. So you are playing the game, and you have to play the game. Steve Bisciotti, at the end of the day, is an owner. He's a businessman, and he's about his money. And Lamar is great for business. All right. Super Coach 65. Thank you for joining the live stream. Says they started at $50 million a year. Now time has gone by, and the price is $57 million. Yes. And going up like a rocket. Yes. Absolutely. What's up, Mr. Yuri? I see you out there in the spaces, Yuri. Thanks for coming through. Says, yeah, Lamar is doing everything just fine. People are too worked up over Twitter nowadays. Yeah. I mean, a tweet takes 2 seconds to put out there. It's not like he's trained 24/7, right? But yeah, like B said, he's doing everything he needs to do. But I mean, look, you see the ticker. The Ravens were interested, right? That's me mocking the team for always saying they're interested, but not actually signing anybody. They're the ones not getting the job done. And we got another man. Shout out to Keelan, man.
Thank you, Keelan.
Keelan, Anonymous, Hendo, like everybody that's making donations, man. Thank you very much, man. Everything goes towards the show. And I should put up here, I didn't put the banner back up. If you're looking for that donation, that's what we use as a super chat. Okay, we don't do regular super chats, the YouTube super chats. This is what we do as a super chat. $ LBHT Show. That's our Cash App. Also, the pinned link in the comment will take you to our stream elements. Both ways, you can leave a donation, leave your comment, and it will come up on the screen just like that. And I'll bring it right back on the screen.
What's up, Noah?
What's
going on, man?
What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming through. Hardworking man right there. Appreciate it. Now let's bring Keelan's comment back up here. He says the narrative that Lamar needs more postseason success or wants or needs to win a Super Bowl to feel like he deserves and get his big contract is foolish. Yeah, Bashai said something like that he feels like Lamar is putting that pressure on himself to win before he gets that contract. Yeah, I think it's foolish. Watson and other QBs don't have near the same success as Lamar, and they got paid mega contracts. I don't think he was saying that he needs to do. I think he was saying that Lamar is putting that pressure on himself, and I do think that Lamar wants to be great. That's why I don't have any worries about Lamar in terms of things he has to work on. Him being prepared for the season and being ready throughout the season, because he has that drive of a great quarterback. He wants to be great. He has that burning desire to be great. And I think he's already shown you that he's a great quarterback, and he's going to continue to be a great quarterback. So I don't have any doubts about that. Yeah. Winning a Super Bowl is a team effort. Now, yes, most of the pressure is put on the quarterback. Mm-hmm. But like B said, he's doing his job. He's doing his job. I wish Steve Bisciotti would have said something to the effect to EDC and Harbaugh, like, yeah, man, they're just so focused on winning the Super Bowl. Like, they're putting so much pressure on themselves to win a Super Bowl. They're not worried about extensions, right?
Yeah, John got that extension done.
All right. But yeah. Look, the EDC. Look, we're critical of EDC. I still feel like, even right now, as I'm criticizing, I still feel like he can become a good GM. I cannot call him a good GM right now. I think he's doing a pretty bad job, man, for being honest. He's people will argue. The people in the spaces will argue that he's great, or he, you gotta give him time and all that stuff. But nah, you've had 4 years. And shout out to Mike. He says, best nation is donation, good people. Yes, indeed. We're just not seeing it. We're not seeing it from the players that he's drafted. He's not making the right moves in free agency. And this free agency, man, has not been good. It just hasn't. Marcus Williams is a good player. It wasn't a good signing. Don't let anybody tell you that was a good signing. It wasn't. We needed to spend money elsewhere. And Mark, again, good player. Yeah, he'll help in the secondary, right? I'll be happy that he's out there. Like, he's not a bad player. If we get Bobby Wagner, he's an excellent player. Excellent player. Is he going to help the defense? Absolutely. It's not a good signing.
Right. With Williams, I think it's a good signing if they take care of the O-line. They fix the O-line, not just kind of, we sort of upgraded the one position. If they really went after the O-line and fixed it, then Marcus Williams is a very good signing. But with you only signing Morgan Moses and saying, man, we'll figure out center sometime. Yeah, no, you should have spent that money on the offense.
Yeah. All right, we got another donation. Shout out to Hendo. The $5 donation says, can I get a second blue wrench? You need a second one? You need a second one? Man. All right, we'll talk, Hendo. We'll talk.
Thank you. All right, so we should probably go ahead and wrap it up here. A little little over an hour 15.
Okay,
Head
all
on
right.
over to the overtime show.
All right, we didn't do bonus time last week. I know we're over a little bit. We're gonna do a couple minutes, just a couple minutes, a couple comments for bonus time. All right. Shout out to Attitude Pop, man. Attitude Pop, salute to you, man. You've been a lot better with your comments. Okay. You haven't been flooding. You've been respectful of other people's time. You haven't been flooding the comments with the same comment. Shout
Call
out to
that
you, man.
growth, man. Love to
That's
see
growth. That's growth. He says, Bishotti doesn't want to pay Lamar $2. You can tell from his presser the Ravens are too cheap. And remember the rumors of the Ravens offering Lamar 35 mil. That's what Bishotti wants. Oh, that ship has long sailed. Yeah. Like 35 million is close to what Tyreek Hill is making. That ship has long sailed. That's why now I think you don't usually hear them speak at all about contracts. But I think they're trying to put as much media pressure on Lamar in a way that doesn't come off as being disrespectful or anything like that.
They're trying to they're walking a tightrope.
But they see literally every day, like B said, that number is going up and they are sweating because it is going to be 50 million a year. Like 45, that's long gone. 35, not a chance. Yeah, it's 50 and up now. So yeah, they're saying they're not going to call him anymore. They're not going to call him, but they're going to text him. They're going to DM him. They're going to be in contact with him every day. Keelan says EDC and Harbaugh ain't helping Lamar win the Super Bowl. Lamar is doing his part. They still haven't gotten their QB, a top 20 wide receiver. Those are facts.
True.
Anonymous says, will the Ravens sign more O-linemen? Was it by July?
Yes. Or yeah, by July. I think they'll sign a couple guys maybe as depth. I think the improvement in the O-line that we're going to see from here on out is going to come in the draft. And we'll see. Mr. Yuri says it's really frustrating they didn't go out and sign Treader because they already paid Macari. And we were fans of the Macari signing, $5 million a year for what we thought was going to be a backup lineman who can play center, guard, and tackle. He's not great at any of those, but that's a really valuable player to have on your team, right? That a guy you can plug in at any one of those spots and get a decent play. But then they went Ravens and said, yeah, we're just gonna roll with him.
Yeah. All right, couple more comments and we're out of here. Brock P says, even with all this, I'm still very confident Lamar is going to win another MVP this year. Yeah, man. I think a healthy year last year. He was in the talks halfway through the season. So absolutely. MVP candidate with 17 on IR last year. Yeah, can't wait to see Lamar kill the league this year. I'm with you, Brock.
I expect to see a huge bounce back from Lamar. With hopefully Ronnie Stanley healthy, Morgan Moses on the right side. I mean, we'll say, best wishes for the interior line for right now. But, you got Dobbins and Edwards coming back. Hopefully Rashad Bateman plays a full year. You got Hollywood, who's not a bad receiver. Nobody's saying he's a bad receiver.
No.
But, with those guys, I mean, that's the best, with Mark Andrews keeping up his play.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's probably the best supporting cast that he's had. And I expect him to come out with a chip on his shoulder after the way last season went. And I do expect a big bounce back from Lamar. Yeah.
Raven Ron, oh no, hold on. Derry says they're gonna call his mama, agent. Okay. I want to end with this right here. Hold on. Where is it? Matt Williams says it's heading to 60 mil, right? 60 mil a year for Lamar's contract. And I just want to say this. They should just go ahead and offer it. And it sounds extreme, right? It's like, oh man, 60 mil, no way. When the new salary cap comes in, that new TV money deal hits and the salary cap explodes like everybody's expecting it to, like these teams are operating like it's going to happen next year, 60 million is not going to be far-fetched. And
it's already past that technically with Aaron Rodgers' deal,
60 mil a year.
Yeah, his deal is technically, I want to say, like 65. It doesn't look that way with the way they structured it and everything, but technically it was over 60. But yeah, everybody kind of looks at it as 50. But no, he's definitely it's one of those.
Shout out to Twan for that.
Yes, thank you very much, Twan. He said they can't pressure a Florida boy. But, you're right. They need to just offer it to him and get him signed, because the longer you wait, the more the price goes up. Yeah. You have never seen the price on a marquee quarterback drop. Ever.
Never.
And it's not going to start now.
Yeah. All right, we're going to end it there. Listen.
Well, we did have one more thing that we want to talk about, right?
Okay.
What was it? It was because we started the show with Sylvia Robinson and her contributions to music, and this is kind of like another musical thing with, I believe it was Queen. We will rock you. We're gonna be discussing Will and Chris in the overtime show coming up.
Yes. If you guys want our thoughts on that, patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right, we're gonna go over there. Our man Mikey from OTR Podcast said he might hang out with us for a little bit. So you'll get the rest of the LBHT crew. You'll get their thoughts, and this should be a fun discussion. So come hang out with us. So our patrons, give us a couple minutes. We're gonna get that started. Everybody else, thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. It's been fun. B, are you ready?
I am ready.
He is ready. So y'all have a good night, and we will see you next time. Peace out.